Welcome, welcome, welcome. Here we are again. Your co-founders, Saeed here, and
Dan Johnson, we're back.
Dan. We're back. We're back for our second post. Today we're going to talk about, we're going to give you an update in terms of what we've been doing, but also just sort of frame it in terms of how this thing works. So if you don't already know how many votes, you can go straight to app.howmanyvotes.com. And you can get registered right now and start using this tool that we've developed. Allows you to maybe two major things. One, to facilitate communication between a team of folks, as many folks as you want to, that are working on a campaign. And then two, facilitate the communication around the roll call or a hard count of all the folks you might have that you're working on and perhaps even against. And so if you've got legislators for the state of Illinois that you're working with, you want to be able to track how each of the members of the House and the Senate are for or against a particular bill that you're working on. You can navigate that and how many votes. You can see who's aligned with you, who's not aligned with you, who's in the middle. You can have notes and comments. You can communicate in real time via chat, all that in one place. And so I'm really amped to see that happening. This past week, a lot of our focus has been around what we're calling list management. List management. And so a core piece of the app allows us to have lists. And lists are just basically groups of people that are organized in a logical way. And so there's a list of legislators from Illinois. There's a list of aldermen from Chicago. There's a list of legislators from every other state. There's a list of people in your local housing community group. I don't know. We're stretching the bounds right there.
But it's true. It can be anybody, right? Anybody working your school board, your condo board, right? Your church group, your co-op, right? Your union leadership. If you're running a union election, our big pivot was to go software only, and so the user provides the data. Meaning, who are you working? And so, we spent a lot of time making sure that the import tool actually worked, right? That you can upload whatever CSV you want. And then once you have it, right, if you're working the same group of people, the House or the Senate or the City Council or whatever, for 5 or 10 or 20 different bills, we didn't want to have you have to upload it every single time, so that you create a list, you save it, and then you can run it again for your second campaign or your third campaign or your fourth campaign. So that has been a lot of work to make that work. And we're not quite there yet, but we're going to get there. We're going to get there. And, and one thing we did, I think, is we're trying to figure out, how do we market this? How do we get it out there? Right? How do we tell people about it? Is we both, I did a bunch of, hey, let me show you. Can I get 5-10 minutes, walk you through it? And then I realized, we are working bills, right? We're doing this now. So using it and inviting other people to use it for an actual campaign, that's been more traction. So it's been more helpful. And so that's helping us sort of really, they always say you're supposed to really understand your customer and really know what the user experience is like. Well, we are the user. We're doing it. So it's helpful to actually use the app, not just as a developer, but as the user. What's that? I'm not only the president of the Hair Club for America, but I'm also a client. Right? It's kind of like that, right? We're also clients.
Yeah.
So it's been helpful, right? Because we realized, like one of my clients has a .co address, and that didn't work. And then we realized, sometimes when we, our onboarding was a little long, we were asking people to skip steps. So we tried to get rid of that. And it turned out we broke something else. So being a user has really helped us get to the heart of what we need the app to do. So that's been helpful.
We had some problems with Node Mailer and some of our account credentials in the back end, the service account details that we had. Connecting the app up with Firebase, or at least for mailing specifically. That we got through that. list management isn't quite where it is. We've had some, I've spelled out some things inside of GitHub issues, and one of our developers isn't quite grasped everything that's in there, so we've got to go back and respell them again in a little different ways, because we want to make lists. I think ultimately there are lists that we want to provide for everyone else, but then there are also lists that folks will be making that they can reuse for themselves as well. And we want to provide a place for them to sort of sit and rest, not just in a CSV on someone's Dropbox account, but they can rest in the app itself. And that way, when they want to make a new campaign, they can immediately go and find that list, and then import it in to have a starting point for whatever campaign management that they're working on. And so,
because probably you're going to be working the same list of people, right? You're probably, if you're a lobbyist or you're an advocate or you're a change agent, you're probably either going to work your city council or your state senate or the U.S. House and Senate again and again and again and again. Mm-hmm. You don't have to. So if you're a national client, you got campaigns going in all 50 states, you can use it and have, some people working on Missouri and some people working on Kentucky and some people working on Alabama. And that's one nice thing about having a software-driven product, not a data-driven product. But probably people are going to be using the same thing. So that's why we wanted to make sure there was a way you can save your list. So hopefully this week we're going to get there. We're close. We're close.
Yeah.
But I like how our team's going, man. They're fast, right? I like to call you the ninja, Saeed, right? People, they're fast.
I'm a tired ninja, brother.
I hustle the tough.
Oh man, it's and what this is like my shout out to Dan. When we first started working together, one of our first developers, I think what sort of happens is that I sort of get the ball rolling. I get the initial set for the code base and everything, get initial pieces in place. And at some point I say, release the Kraken. I'm sorry, release Dan Johnson. And then he comes in, and from a completely different perspective. I mean, definitely from a user-based perspective, just unleashes like every permutation of problem and situation that might come up. I think for some developers that might be like, overload. But I think for us, what it's done is like it really results in a really great product. And so I want to give you kudos for doing that. The other app we're working on, Juror Search, I think it's in a pristine state, but it's because, unleashing the Dan Johnson into the system has been like of utmost benefit. And so we're at that unleashing of Dan Johnson stage.
Like it's how, for Juror Search was a challenge. Well, first, thank you. The only reason I could do that is because you set up a structure and you're sort of the, you create it all and then you built a team so that when we say we need this thing to get fixed, you and the team can fix it. So that's great to work with a yes team. But so for Juror Search, what's interesting is like you and I don't know anything about that niche of voir dire. And so the entire product is built exclusively from customer feedback. So it's been, it's a joy, but a challenge to learn what these customers want. And I think we know now that they want to organize their notes so it's faster than paper, pen, and Post-it note. But we know this space for how many votes. We are advocates. We are lobbyists. And so it came up when we're like, hey, look at this, man. You can, import jurors. Well, those could be senators. And you can rank them based on what you think about them. And we do that all the time. You get a hard count how many you're going to strike. And we could use that for saying they're yes or no. And you can have real-time chat, which you built, which is phenomenal. So, like, we got a second product here. Let's get that one out there, too. Why not? Especially in a pandemic when there aren't no jury trials.
Yep. And as we see, even in pandemics, campaigns continue.
They do.
And so, I don't know if we've talked about our timelines, but we've got an itch to have this thing particularly in use. I know a lot of states have their veto session coming up at the end of October, beginning November. And so that's definitely, sort of a first use case, and also looking out for the sessions that begin in January as well. So feel like we're in a good timeline. We're in a good space. Pandemic or not, campaigns must go on.
That's right. All right. The legislative branch is with us. The judicial branch may have largely shut down, but the legislative branch, they can Zoom.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's good. We're pushing hard, and our hopefully a little preview is we may have some fact sheets coming by next week too.
Yep. And also our public site will be out next week as well.
That's true. Yeah, we're coming. We got to figure out how much we're sort of saying hello world, and we're kind of slow rolling it, but we're getting there.
Yeah. Yeah. Got the app. We've got the full site. We've got some fact sheets, and hopefully in the next several weeks we'll have some user testimonies as well to throw in there too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So great. We got a couple hours left on our late Saturday night, but thanks for paying attention and watching our show on the founder's journey, I guess, on how we're bringing this to people that need to keep track of how many votes they got.
There you go. All right. Until the next one.
Right.
Peace, love, and votes.